Hi guys, we're going to talk about the moral agent developing virtue as habit and values, human values. Formation of moral character. Since the beginning of human civilizations, human beings and their ethics or morality have not only been by culture, but also have constantly been making efforts to form their culture and moral formation. Philosophers like Plato in Apology Phaedo, Aristotle in the Nicomachean Ethics, and Confucius in an Analects. They propose moral development of universal values or human habits. Character is derived from the Greek word character that refers to a mark impressed upon a coin, meaning it is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual.
A moral character or personality, similar with culture, is the composite of the moral qualities one has that uniquely distinguishes one from others. Having two, three, some or most of them is what differentiates one from the others, though they are all universal human potential. So there is no universal moral character of all woman's person. One possesses a distinct moral character. Every person is unique. Aristotle calls it a habituation, familiarization, or conditioning. He proposed that virtue such as honesty and courage be habitualized to form a good moral character. It is the moral responsibility of women to develop their moral character. They could blame their culture.
Individual acts and moral character. Neither an individual act, non-individual acts together does not define a person, but a moral character does. Psychologist Lawrence Marvin defines moral character as a disposition to express behavior in consistent patterns of function across a range of situations. Likewise, Marie George refers to moral character as the sum of one's moral habits and disposition. Individual acts and moral character. Ito ay individual na mga gawa at mahal na katangian na individual na kilos na magkakasama. Hindi tumutukoy sa isang tao, ngunit ang isang moral na karakter ang nagbibigay ng kahulugan. Dito ay tinukoy ng isang psychologist na si Lawrence Marvin ang moral characters bilang isang disposition upang ipahayag ang pag-uugali sa parehong mga pattern ng mga function sa isang hanay ng mga sitwasyon. Gayon din tinukoy ni Marie George ang moral na katangian bilang kabuuan ng mga moral na gawi at disposition. Disposition are generally defined as the natural characteristic which an object uniquely. Mga disposition ay karaniwang tinutukoy bilang ang mga likas na katangian na isang layunin ay natatangi. Human disposition are neither natural or potential continued action that one develops in uncreated structure or culture so that they become naturally or excellently done in any similar situation. Mga disposition ng tao ay hindi natural o potential ng mga aksyon na binubuo ng isang tao. Nilikha ng isang istruktura o kultura upang maging natural at mahusay ang mga ito sa anumang katulad ng mga sitwasyon.
Circular relation, acts, and characters. In the process of moral development, there is the circular relation between acts that build character and moral character itself. Acts help build character as what the Greeks believed. Virtuous acts complete or perfect human life. And always remember that character is typically synonymous with personality. Character is the inherent complex of attributes that determine a person's moral and ethical reactions and actions. Virtuous traits of character ought to be stable and enduring, and not mere products of fortune, but learning, constant practice, and cultivation. For example, ancient Greek have established institutions and schools to formally teach ideal actions, such as courage and integrity to students who will eventually become leaders. Every act one does ought to come from his moral character and continuously influences lifetime moral development. And finally, the circular relation of acts and character. The circle symbolizes perfection or eternity, whereby one must constantly struggle in achieving one's perfect character.
Moral development can be considered as a moral framework of theory that distinguishes good from bad or right from wrong based on one growth of maturity. A moral development can be considered as a moral framework of or theory distinguishes good from bad or right from wrong on one's growth or maturity. Basically, a moral responsibility has long been distinguished depending on one level of moral development. Adults are expected to be more morally responsible than the children. Ethical moral development is a set of codes that guides human behavior, what is good or bad and right. We can say that act is right or wrong because it is a certain kind of act, a fifth, and which is certain principal rules, or we can say that act right or wrong because it is result in a good or bad consequence. Moral ethics maturity. It is considered as the highest level of understanding the impact, conflict, and the solution involved in one's interaction with oneself, other, and the environment. Ethical maturity is the ability not only judge and right from wrong, but to make the right choice when issues in conflict and require the individual to weigh competing values making social technical decision.
Moral development theories. Block 2010 classifies that moral development theories into three: biological, learning, and development theories. 1. Biological theories. This propose that people commit good or bad acts because of biological predisposition or predetermines human behaviors are evidence of traits that are selected for species survival in their evolution. An example for this, Gilligan's research on empathy and caring morality. Ang sabi po rito, ang mga teorya ni Lawrence Kohlberg. Nagtalo si Gilligan na maling inunan ni Kohlberg ang isang merdad na responsibilidad at matalik na relasyon sa iba. Number 2. Learning theories. These argue that behavior is based on the reward received in our past. Individuals actively participate in adapting, modeling, and interpreting the rewards. Reinforcement of their environment. Bandura's learning theories belongs here. Ang sabi po rito, ang matatag na resulta ng unang proyekto sa pagmamodel ay na humigit kumulang 85% na lahat ng genetic. 3. Developmental theories. This proper that individuals mature physically, cognitively, and emotionally. Morality comes only at an advanced stage of emotionally and social development is like to cognitive development. Kohlberg, for example, specified several moral stages in the development of one's morality. Sabi po rito ay diskar sa moral na filosofiya. Ibig sabihin, parehong pinagtatalunan ang kalayaan ng moralidad mula sa reliyon at ang kalagahan, kabutihan ng kilos. Ang tanging pagkakataon ng kailangan umasa pakiramdam ng isang tao sa kabutihan, inilarawan ang mga ito bilang moral na nagmamalagi sa batayan ng moralidad o ang subjective na kondisyon ng pagtatanggap. Kohlberg's theory has three levels. 1. Pre-conventional morality. 2. Conventional morality. 3. Post-conventional morality with two stages in each level 6 stage.
Level 1. Pre-conventional. Morality is typically found in children between the ages of 4 and 10 years old. It is something external which the big people say to them that they must do. Number 1. Obedience and punishment orientation. A behavior is good if it follows the rule and bad if it breaks the rules that leads to punishment. In this stage, children unquestioningly obey a fixed set of rules handed down by powerful authorities because not obeying them correspond punishment. Number 2. Self-interest and exchange. A behavior is good if it gets a reward that is personally meaningful and bad if it gets none. This stage is about instrumental purpose and exchange in which children follow rules simply out of reward or self-interest. Level 2. Conventional. Morality is generally reached between ages 13 and above, though some individuals never move beyond this level. It is making moral decisions as full-fledged member of society.
Good day, everyone. So, I'm going to discuss the application of Kohlberg's moral development in Haynes' dilemma. The Haynes dilemma is a frequently used example to help us understand Kohlberg's stage of moral development. As mentioned above, the dilemma is about a man whose wife is dying and there is one very expensive treatment option for her that Haynes cannot afford. From a theoretical point of view, it is not important what the participant thinks that Haynes should do. Kohlberg's theory holds that the justification the participant offer is what significant, the form of their response. So, below are some of many examples of possible arguments that belong to the 6 stages. Free conventional moral development. Stage 1, or obedience, or pagsunod. Haynes should not steal the medicine because he will consequently be put in prison, which will mean he is a bad person. Or Haynes should steal the medicine because it is only worth $200 and not how much the judges wanted for it. Haynes had even offered to pay for it and was not stealing anything else. So, ang stage 1 po is nakafocus po siya sa pagsunod. Si Haynes po ay gumawa ng good behavior kaya nasunod niya po yung rule at wala pong punishment na mangyayari. Kaya nga po ang sabi sa level 1, pre-conventional, obedience and punishment orientation, a behavior is good if it follows the rules and bad if it breaks the rule that leads to punishment. Stage 2, self-interest or pansariling interest. Haynes should steal the medicine because he will be much happier if he saves his wife, even if he will have to serve a prison sentence. Or Haynes should not steal the medicine because prison is an awful place and he would more likely languish in jail cell than over his wife's death. Dito naman po is nakapokus po siya sa self-interest or pansariling interest. Sinasabi po dito na dapat nakawin ni Haynes ang gamot dahil magiging mas masaya siya kung ililigtas niya ang kanyang asawa kahit na makulong po siya sa bilangguan or prison. O hindi dapat magnakaw si Haynes ng gamot dahil ang kulungan po ay isa sa kilakilabot na lugar at mas mas mamamatay po siya sa loob kaysa sa pagkamatay ng kanyang asawa. Gaya nga po ng sabi sa level 1, pre-conventional, self-interest and exchange. A behavior is good if it gets reward that is personally meaningful and bad if it gets none. Nakapokus po ang stage na ito sa instrumental purpose and exchange. Kung saints daw po ba ay susunod sa mga tuntunin dahil lamang sa gantimpala, which is ang masibang asawa niya, or pansariling interes lamang, which is ayaw niyang makulong. Gaya nga po ng sabi kanina, it is not important what the participant thinks that Haynes should do. Kohlberg's jury holds the justification the participant offer is what is significant, the form of their response.
Number 1, conformity and good interpersonal relationship. A good behavior is having good motives and interpersonal feelings such as love, empathy, trust, and concern for other, while bad behavior is having none of them. It should maintain mutual relations, approval of others, and the golden rules. This stage is best in two-person relationship with family or friends because one can make a real effort to get to know others' feelings and needs in order to help others behave in good ways. Evaluate acts according to motives, consider circumstances, judge intention, and develop own ideas and morality. Number 2, maintaining law and social order. Good behavior is obeying law, respecting authority, and performing one's duties for social order, while bad behavior is doing their opposite that leads to social disorder. Moral decisions are based on doing one's duty and societal expectation or perspective. Anything that harms other or violates a law is wrong since it establishes a society.
Conscience, derived from the Latin word con and scientia, means with knowledge. According to the book, this is a universal principle which renders impartial justice in a moral issue or decision. In other words, this is what people believes is right and how a people decide what is right. It is example of conscience, personal ethics that gives you from cheating. For some Christians and non-Christians, inner voice God because following conscience gives the some significant of following God's laws and values. According to Emmanuel Levinas, so conscience as the mind's resistance from selfishness, even that which is factual and logical. Lawrence Kohlberg's last stage, his moral development theory, people act on the basis of their conscience and indeed a decision maker. Intrinsic conscience, valuing one's individual right, and it may be conflict with other right. In other words, it is a sense of right and wrong, and we have a pressure toward perfection and growth. External or social conscience, embodiment of universal principle of justice. I will tell the truth because this gives everyone a chance to live, and I wish to respect that others' right to know the truth. Example of this are fear, error, lackness, and ignorance.
Hi guys, my name is Patrick Jan A. Exala from BSCRIM 1 Block B, and we're going to talk about what is intrinsic conscience. Intrinsic conscience is valuing one's individual right, and it may be conflict with others' rights. Okay, so for example, tayo ay nasa park ka, tapos may nakita kang do not feed the birds. So pinakain mo pa din. So tama naman na pinakain mo para matulungan mo ang mga ibon na sa kanilang gutom. Kaya nga lang, yun ay merong conflict sa ibang rights, kasi magkakaroon to ng bad effect in the future. Okay, so next is the external or social conscience. For example, I will tell the truth because this gives everyone a chance to live, and I wish to respect that others' right to know the truth. So dito sa may external or social conscience, embodiment of universal principle of justice. So sinabi dito na sasabihin niya ang totoo para mabigyan ng chance na mabuhay, and gusto daw niya irespeto ang ibang tao na malaman ng katotohanan. So principle of justice or prejudice. Okay, so next is the seventh stage, or transcendental morality or cosmic orientation. According to Kohlberg, it is very difficult or rarely to reach the stage 6. So Kohlberg was challenged to develop the seventh stage, which is the transcendental morality or cosmic orientation. So, transcendental morality. This stage links religion and moral reasoning. The stage of moral principles begins with despair or meaninglessness, especially when people begin to see their lives as finite from a more infinite perspective. Ethic of responsible universal love, service or sacrifice, or an ethic of supererogation. So, according to Lawrence Kohlberg, stages of moral development, nagkaroon ng critic na sa theory from several perspectives. Arguments have been made that it emphasizes justice to the exclusion of other moral values, such as caring that there is such an overlap between stages that they should more properly be regarded as domains, or that evaluations of the reasons for moral choices are mostly post hoc rationalizations by both decisions makers and psychologists of intuitive decisions. So ito na siya. A new field within psychology was created of Kohlberg's theory. So ito siya, yung 7-stage transcendental morality or cosmic orientation. And according to Hagbloom, the study of the most eminent psychologists of the 20th century, Kohlberg was the 16th most frequently cited in introductory psychology textbooks throughout the century, as well as the 30th most eminent. So Kohlberg's scale is about how people justify behaviors, and his stages are not a method of ranking how moral someone's behavior is. There should be a correlation between how someone scores on the scale of and how they behave. So the general hypothesis is that moral behavior is more responsible, consistent, and predictable from people at higher levels. That's all. The end. Thank you for listening.